5-1.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bev Boys, your one-stop shop for all your energy drink reviews. I'm Christian,
I'm Brian,
and
and
we
we
are
are
the Bev Boys. Oh, we're lagging a little bit.
we are lagging a little bit. That's okay.
It's
Spotty
all good.
internet.
Yep, got that DR Wi-Fi. No worries.
Actually, I think it's that Spectrum that I have.
Yikes.
um, but it's all right. Uh, got a lot for you today, but I this is one that I feel you would like. I have the Red Bull Summer Edition Caruba Elderflower.
Wow.
I
I
don't know
like the
if it's
color
gonna
of the can. I don't
the
know what the
can.
fuck that
It's a
flavor is, but
it's a sick color. Um, just like every other summer winter edition of Red Bull, they never really come out with a sugar-free version until it becomes like a staple, and then they'll do it like they did with the coconut berry. That was like one of the original summer variations. So 110 calories from 28 grams of sugar, or sorry, from 28 carbohydrates, 26 grams of sugar, 80 milligrams of caffeine in an 8.4 fluid ounce can. Not gonna pop It's not going to pop the top off anybody's like mind here, but they typically do very well with the flavors. Like I know you and I really liked, I think it was like the cinnamon pear. That was a
right.
fantastic flavor. So it's like just give me more caffeine, take the sugar out. I'd buy the, I'd even pay the same price for like the larger
Exactly.
cans. Just give me more caffeine and take the sugar out. But always the can does look sick. They always do the cutout
And,
in the actual
yep.
top, which if you're not going
The
to do a colored
details.
top, yeah, if you're not going to do a colored like tab, the cutout is just unreal. Like that's sick. Um,
Yeah. I feel like
shout
their
out.
uh I feel like their tops are always like easy to like
They're always
get
like
your
to get
fingers
under.
under.
Yeah, you can always like get
Yeah.
under them. So it's
Yeah,
super
that's another
nice.
little detail, but it matters.
Oh yeah. Shout out Grace. She told me that these existed. So the old athlete working at Red Bull now.
Oh yeah.
So got the inside hookup, but we'll pop that top real quick before you go.
Mm.
Solid.
Crisp, not
Low
not bad.
vapor.
Consistent.
I'm gonna wait to sip mine until you sip yours to be honorary.
Okay, so I picked up something. It's something I've had before, but not something you find down here in the Dominican very often. I've seen it one other time and saw it again. Had to pick up another one or two actually. It is, it's kind of an Elon staple for the fridge if we're taking it back as far as brands go. So I picked up
Can I?
a oh, it is a C4, so not the blue bombsicle flavor like we had at Elon, but the mango foxtrot flavor. I picked this up at basically like a gas station that also has like a barbecue restaurant in it, which is pretty sick. Got some
That
barbecue and an energy
that
drink.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so that was pretty sick. Picked up one of these as well as the cherry flavor, but I figured I'd hit the mango foxtrot. Um, Again, for down here, this is pretty top tier, pretty elite. C4, if you haven't had it before, 200 milligrams of caffeine, no sugars, 10 calories. Um, they taste great. I like it a lot better than the actual pre workout. Obviously, it's carbonated. The pre workout isn't carbonated. Um, but yeah, obviously, C4 is kind of classic. I feel like it's everyone's first pre workout that they take, usually either the fruit punch or the blue raz flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but since they came out with these energy drinks, I think they've really hit the nail on the head with a lot of their flavors. So I was excited. I paid probably close to $4 a can, but so it's pretty steep. But
Worth it.
I had to exactly 100%,
Their cans are stronger than the powder.
100%. I like them.
Like
I like them
it's
a lot more. Like I hadn't
I
had C4 powder in like a long time until I came down here. And obviously, there weren't as many like energy drinks, so
mm-hmm.
I started taking more pre workout before I would lift. Obviously, C4 is something that's kind of a staple. And yeah, like you feel something from it, but it's not. I really noticed the difference when we had C4 and then we got some bucked up that hit a lot harder. And then we had some Ghost, which is my favorite. Um, Obviously, we're big fans of Ghost on the show, pre workout energy drinks, everything. And that just kind of shat on the C4, to be honest, from a pre workout standpoint. It's definitely something that's you know what you're going to get. It's nothing crazy. I do think it is like banned
It's like a
substance approved. So I think
yeah.
that's something that a lot of like I'm pretty sure that's why we have it down here because we can still give it to the players if they feel like they really need it, not to worry about them popping for something illegal if they do get drug tested. So
It's a solid pre workout. It's not going to wow you, but it's a
no,
solid. It's the starter pre workout. It's like what gets everybody into using pre's.
yes,
I feel
it's like
like
the gold standard protein of pre
yeah,
workouts.
yeah. It's when
Yes,
everyone comes in, like used to go into GNC and you'd walk in, you're 16, 17. They don't want to like kill you. So they give you gold standard, Optimum Nutrition, gold standard, uh, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, whatever. And then they give you C4 and then they give you creatine monohydrate. And it's usually
yep,
either the store brand or the Optimum Nutrition.
exactly. Can't
It's
go
a
wrong.
solid stack.
There's
It's a solid
yeah,
stack.
there's better options, but there's also much worse options. So can't really go wrong. So
I am
yeah,
excited for you to do this.
yeah, no, I am too. Obviously, the C4 kind of have that classic yellow branding. I'm not a huge fan of like the way this can looks, to be honest with you. I do like that it kind of mimics the pre-workout tub, so it's consistent in that aspect. I just don't really like the
The,
yellow as far as how it matches up with this color in particular. The top is pretty bland, just plain Jane, but it's what inside that counts for the most part. So I'm gonna go ahead. This also has some beta alanine in there too. So hope I
Mhm.
start itching here. Let's go ahead and pop that top.
That's a solid pop. You got any vapor coming out?
A little bit. I can see the bubbles bubbling up though.
I haven't
Definitely
had the
smells like
mango
mango.
foxtrot. I've never
Yeah,
had the mango.
it's I'm usually not a huge fan of mango like energy drinks. I feel like it's usually too mellow, so you definitely have to do it right. I remember oh, I think it's the Just Work by Axe and Sledge. They did like a
Hmm.
mango-ish flavor, and it was all right, but it wasn't anything special. But they had this, the Skittles flavor, and black cherry. So I picked up
The
this and
black
the black
cherry
cherry.
is
I
killer.
love
I
cherry
do
stuff.
anything cherry. Like if you do cherry right, like if you do it wrong, it can taste like the old like cough syrup.
Cough syrup, yeah,
Most of the time, in
like a
an
cherry
energy drink,
vanilla.
uh, black cherry vanilla, the Gorilla Mind is very very
Yes.
good. The cherry limeade, obviously from Ghost, is absolutely
Mm-hmm.
stunning. I love that flavor. The black cherry from C4 is one of my
Mm-hmm.
all time, but it was super hard to find. It was like one of like the original added flavors after they did like their baseline, and that one I pounded that pause. But I used to just crush like the black cherry flavor because it was super good.
Yeah. So yeah, without further ado, should we take a sip?
We should.
How was that?
Way different than what I thought.
So what's the flavor again? Elderflower?
Caruba
Elderberry?
elderflower. Caruba elderflower.
Yeah, I don't
It
even
is
know
a
what the hell that is.
it is a very floral tasting one. Um, I don't know if it's my favorite I've ever had, but um, it's like an herbal tea almost, but carbonated and sweet.
Interesting.
Like it's definitely. I don't think it's their best summer flavor they've ever done. I really love the coconut berry. They had like a strawberry like dragon fruit one time that was really really good. It was just really sweet. This is it's different. I don't know if it would be like it definitely fits like oh it's a hot day in the summer, sun shining. It's super floral. It almost tastes like like a tropical punch, but not quite. It's really pulled back.
Hmm. It's more of a mellow flavor, you'd say.
It's a very, very mellow flavor, lightly carbonated. Red Bull never like overdoes carbonation. They usually they usually hit it pretty on the head with like the lighter side.
It's
It's such a
always
hard flavor to pin down.
it's always interesting when they do like the flower flavors, like when I had that Fit Aid a few weeks back where it was like the hibiscus lavender
Yeah.
or whatever it was. And that was pretty solid for the most part. I'm not a huge fan just because I don't know. It's weird thinking about like drinking flowers.
Yeah.
It definitely has to be subtle, which it's probably a good thing that it's more of a mellow flavor. Um,
I'm gonna
but yeah,
I'm gonna look it up to see what like how to describe this flavor. I have the palate of an idiot, so it's probably not the best person to try elderberry or Caruba elderberry or
yeah, that's
elderflower.
above my palate level as well, I think. But as far as the C4 goes, you mentioned the carbonation. I think C4 does a good job. Theirs is more, I feel like, lightly carbonated too. It usually is pretty smooth, but
Hmm.
not like completely flat, which I
Yeah.
like. Like, I think that's what they were kind of going for with it being an energy drink, but also like a pre workout. You know, you can still like drink it pretty easily during a workout or before, some of the more heavily carbonated drinks. You can't really gas them quite as quick, which can be both good and bad depending on what you want out of it. If you want it to be more slow and drawn out process for you drinking your energy drink, or if you want to just gas that shit and go to town on the weights. So that's good. The flavor, I feel like they did mango pretty good. It's definitely not as mellow as some of the other mango flavors. Definitely sweet. I think it's got a little hint of something else in there too.
I definitely feel like mango's always like a very sweet flavor. So when
Yeah,
they overdo it, it's too sweet, and then you just don't
yeah.
like you almost get like stomach rot and you don't finish the can.
This is about as sweet as I would want it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely not my favorite flavor of the C4. Again, like that black midnight cherry, whatever they call it, is really good. Some of my favorite. Probably my actual favorite would have to be one of the Starburst flavors. Those are gas, like the
The
yellow
yellow,
or the red Starburst, or even
the
the pink
yellow.
one.
I haven't really had the pink. The orange is
I think,
okay because it's orange.
yeah, I think I like the yellow and the red one the best, to be honest with you,
Same.
out of those. I've had the orange flavor. That's not bad. The blue is obviously classic. They have a
Yeah,
strawberry watermelon one that's pretty solid. That one's
I
really
like that one.
smooth.
They
But
had
yeah, I
a
think the Starburst, the Skittles
the,
ones,
the
obviously.
Skittles is a very solid one. The popsicle
Mm-hmm.
ones were not good.
Yeah, those were trash, bro. Like,
We
how did they miss on those?
so I have a couple things for you. So we women's soccer team had a conditioning test. All did very well thanks to their summer program.
Let's go. It's all
But
about that fitness, baby.
Mad Dog showed up. She was crushing a popsicle C4.
Oh,
And I was like, do you like the? And I think it was orange popsicle. I think that's what she had, or the
okay,
pineapple popsicle flavor. And I was like, how
okay.
do you like that? And she's like, I stick to one flavor here and there, but I got this one. I like it. And I'm like, you got to try the grape and the cherry
Oh,
popsicle because they're
that's
bad.
true. Maybe the pineapple one's better. Maybe the pineapple one's
Maybe,
better.
hopefully, because they really missed and like maybe
Yeah,
it's just because like I just don't like popsicles, but like
yeah. I
didn't
don't
like
know.
those
I
flavors.
I I, I trust her taste in energy drinks. She hooked me
She
up before I left. She gave me some of like the C4, like it was like the skinny can. I can't remember what
mm,
flavor it was, but it was gas, and then obviously some pink lemonade ghost. So she's
she
always,
has she's got a good palate.
yeah,
And she's an original Bad Boys fan, so like you
yeah,
gotta
she's
trust
OG
her.
supporter. Yeah, she's
OG
OG
supporter.
supporter. But
Um,
yeah,
I did look up the like what an elderflower is flavored like. So fresh, fruity, and soft. So like us. Um,
hmm
with pear, lychee berry, kumquats, and tropical notes. So
Damn, that's
honey,
sheesh. That's
honey, berry, kumquat, and pear.
that's definitely unique.
That is a. I don't know if I want to drink it anymore. What is a kumquat?
It's like a. I feel like that's like a root vegetable, almost like a squash. But maybe I'm wrong.
You were so wrong. It's
What
like
is it? Is it
it's like an
orange?
it's like an orange. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I didn't even know. Well, if everything else sucks, at least somebody learned something today.
Yeah, kumquat is a citrusy fruit, probably,
Yeah,
that
a
looks like an
citrus
orange.
a citrus fruit that's an orange shaped like a pear. It's
What's a le
Cantonese.
What's a lychee berry? I feel like I've heard that flavor before.
A lychee berry. I've heard of
I mean,
lychee berry.
yeah. I mean, it's like a berry, obviously. One would think.
They look like the they're giant berries and they have like a skin on them. They look like those like egg hard candies that had like the rough skin that when you bit into it, it was like a hard shell and then it had like the jelly bean on the inside.
Hmm,
They look
interesting.
kind of sick. They taste lychee berries taste like sweet with notes of citrus and watermelon, but mostly a cross between strawberry and pear with rose water mixed in. So we're just hammering like Red Bull just
Every
went all
flavor
out
ever.
on yeah. They look kind of cool. But you know what I mean like with those candies?
Oh yeah. I think I feel like Gorilla Mind has like a lychee bomb flavor, don't they, or something like that. Some brand does.
They do. They yeah, I think it is Gorilla Mind. I think it's one of their new
Yeah.
flavors with
I
like the
haven't
blue
tried
can.
it, but I think that's honestly I've been like plotting what energy drinks I need to drink when I go home. I think I'm definitely looking forward to Ghost, but I think Gorilla Mind might be that's towards the top of my list. That and just like an OG White Monster.
I've been we've been hammering monsters lately. Jake, Kel, and I will like rotate. Like one of us will come in and like bring energy drinks for each other each day. So we just been like, what should we get? And then we've been we've been hitting like a staff lift every day in the summer, so that's nice.
Yep,
And once
that's
everything's
sick.
all wrapped up, we'll get lifting. We we've been doing some complexes, so we'll do like a partial range with like
Hmm.
110%. Then we do a full range, and then an explosive, and then like an unweighted, like either med ball throw or jump.
Yep,
Been
I know you talked
super
about that.
super fun. We did a me because Kel's out of town. Jake and I did a pin squat. I loaded up like 700 on a pin squat.
Fuck yeah. I'm
So
not gonna lie. I feel like my I hadn't really had a lot of experience with like partial range of motion stuff.
mhm.
Like I don't think I was against it. I just hadn't really like learned about it a whole lot. I feel like there's definitely is that obviously like with anything there's always people that are going to be like, oh, it's either great or it sucks. But
Yeah,
I think as long and I'd be interested to see what you think about this, but like for just driving like pure outputs, the partial range stuff is like tough to beat. And I think as long as you also have like a full range of motion in your program, whether it's on the same day or another day throughout the week that's hitting that same like pattern, I feel like at certain times of the year that can be beneficial depending on what you're trying to go for.
yeah. I started to like him a little bit more in that sense, and mainly from like the maybe it is more like a peaking method or it's
Hmm.
something that you use on like one more on a day where you're a little bit more dynamic effort, like whatever it is, to where you can just drive pure outputs. You're not worried about
Right.
like a ton of like eccentric stress. So like a
Right.
rack pull versus like an RDL.
Hmm.
Obviously the RDL is going to be better for like total development, but at a certain
Right.
time you're like, I just need to move as much weight as possible in a shorter range of motion, get a higher force output, and potentially, since it's only partial range, potentially move it faster
Hmm.
at like a percentage that would be higher than what my full range would be. So I do like them, and they're also really fun. Like obviously, like throwing on 600-700 pounds of something, ripping it, you
Feels
feel
good.
like a king. Yeah, you just feel like a king.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
No,
I
I
do
think,
like them.
yeah, I think they can be beneficial maybe for in-season stuff too when you're
Hmm.
not trying to get or trying to avoid
Like the
soreness as
soreness.
far as the weight room, but you still want to like maintain that strength that you built during the off
Yeah,
season. Hit something quick, low volume, still pretty high intensity in,
yeah.
and then obviously maybe work full ranges at some lower intensity to still
Hmm.
maintain strength at, through those ranges. But yeah,
Yeah,
definitely something that I've been kind of experimenting with more too. So, and they
I'm a
are
big
fun as
fan of
fuck.
that. Oh yeah, I've also, I don't know if it's just been like what we've been doing with like football and stuff, but I've been getting really big fan of like the large, not quite like hypertrophy clusters, but like loaded up at 50-55% every minute on the minute, hit a double for like 8 to 10 reps or 8 to 10 sets. Just nothing but speed, super fun. Like I don't know, like I've really enjoyed that in the aspect of like you can get a lot done moving the bar fast. So like get the bar moving fast. Um, so like I've been like tampering with that internally with some stuff. Like, do we do we load up a ton on like partial range, or do we just like back way off and then just go all about speed? So I've been testing that on us to see like how we respond, and like pairing some jumps with it, pairing a couple different bounds and stuff like that. We almost blew our knees out. I won't lie. One day we we were doing standing triple jump like in the weight room and like sticking it, and then we backed up, and then we started doing like run-ins like from like the back of like Nick's office, and then like taking off on like a running long jump and trying to stick it. We did like 30 jumps. We all got done and we were like, my knees are busted.
Reminds me of a day we had back in the day on the
With the
jump
med
mat.
ball. Oh, on the jump mat, dude. I told I just 200 jumps back and
I
forth.
think that was, yeah, that was more than 30. I think.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh. Because we just kept when we did it, that was right after we got the plyomat, and then we were just like
the
one after the
variation was
next.
crazy. Just different
360s.
variations. Yeah, 360s, like 360 freaking depth drop. Like we
off
did
a off
everything.
a 36-inch box, the
Yeah,
approach jump to single leg like 180.
yeah, we were no no rhyme or reason, just
No,
exerting effort as
yeah.
hard as we. That was fun though. I was
That
sweating.
I was sweating hard that day. And the worst part was is I don't even think like we weren't even like planning a workout. We were just playing around on the jump mat.
No, like I think a team was about to come in and we were just like, oh, like we could do this. Oh, let's do this. Oh, wait, that was good. I'm gonna try this now.
It might have been like right before like a women's soccer lift, and they were just like
Yeah, it
watching us. It
was.
was either them or
I
lacrosse.
yeah, I know it was. Yeah, that was a lot of fun though. I miss the jump mat. I'm not gonna lie. Like the force plates are nice and you can tell a lot of stuff from them, but I just miss like the simplicity of like turning it on. You jump as high as you can and it tells you like the vert. Obviously, like you can tell that on the force plates, but it's just not the same.
Yeah,
Like
like
that's
just being
not what
able to
we
like
use it for as much. Like it's just the
just
simplicity of it.
walk in, do something max effort, have it give you some kind of metrics out, but you don't necessarily have to like go through like a testing protocol.
Right.
The simplicity of it is nice, where it's just like, and you can roll 60 people through in a session
Yeah, it's tough to
in
do
an A
that.
block. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. It's tough to do that with a force plate because you have to change the account. I mean, you've used the force plate, I'm sure, before.
Hmm.
You have to change the account, even when you can like. It's a little quicker because once you set the test up and zero the plates, you can just upload and then change the profile. But even then, like I know during the week when we get like our weekly jumps in with guys, usually when like the group is lifting, one of us will be on the floor coaching, and then the other one's just doing jumps, and that takes probably 20 minutes to get through the whole group. So
Yeah,
it's worth
can
it for the metrics we get, but it is kind of tedious. I wish we had. I don't know if there's a better protocol or time to do it, but it does take a little bit longer.
it is valuable. Like I definitely the one metric that I've started to really look into is like the net impulse. Because I want to see. Like if I had a set here at Elon, like the one thing I would love to see would be like the correlation on like the efficiency of like a block start from like the 0 point to first movement, and see
Hmm.
what they can get out of it based off of that. I think you and I talked about that before you left. Um, but it's just like, how do I fit that into a session? Or do I just tell them, hey, you're going to come in and do a jump, whenever? So it's like, is the
Yeah,
data then reliable because someone might have something else going on? Are they hitting it during the lift? Did they hit it during the explosives block, or did they hit it during strength block or resiliency? So it's like,
right.
what do we do?
Yeah, and I think because there's obviously, I know we had the Sparta Science one at Elon for a little bit. I wasn't a huge fan of that, especially after I've used the Vald ones. I've never
Mhm.
used. You said you've used the Hawken Dynamics ones before, right?
Yeah, I like the Hawken and the Vol. They'll operate pretty similarly from like a user
Yeah.
standpoint in the aspect of like ease of use, where it's like once you're zeroed in, you can just rotate the next profile, have them weigh in
Hmm.
and get and be able to go. But the Sparta one, just I mean, that took like it took 5 to 7 minutes just to get one person through. Like, who's got time for
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I do like the Vald. Obviously, we have our metrics that like we look at, but there's countless other ones you can kind of dive into. Obviously, we look at the ones that we think are relevant to baseball, but obviously that's going to be a little bit different for different sports. It's kind of interesting to see like how, as far as like peak power goes, how much like body weight plays into that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, a heavier guy is generally going to have a better chance of just getting an overall better peak power. But then when you look at like the relative peak power, that's where it's a little bit different. Like we have some guys that are like 250 plus and they'll jump like in like the 7,000s, like well into the 7,000s. But then like you look at their like peak power per body mass, and it's like pretty average compared to some guys that are a little bit lighter. But like they may have like a super high relative relative peak power. So
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. There's no coefficients in the jungle, baby. Line it up.
that's true. That's true. There's no weight classes in baseball. That's oh
uh,
man.
Dude, I do have some news. Have you followed? This is kind of a bad thing to talk about, maybe, but I mean, it's newsworthy, so I feel like we should talk about it. Have you followed the CrossFit Games this year?
I haven't really. I barely even followed like the Olympics, to be honest with
Oh
you.
man, um, somebody drowned at the CrossFit Games.
Really,
A competitor, yeah.
I've been literally like living under a rock here, and it's kind of awesome. Like I love. This is like the perfect time to not be in the states because I don't have to hear. Honestly, I don't have to hear anything about like the election, which I fucking
Yeah,
hate. I hate
I don't
watching all
care.
the ads. I hate hearing about like none of
This
that down
person
here. It's
does
like it doesn't
this.
even.
This person does this. I
Yeah,
don't care.
like yeah, it's like it doesn't even exist down here, which is awesome. But no, I didn't hear about that. That's
Yeah,
crazy though.
they did like
Drowned.
I think they did a 3 mile run, and then it went right into an 800-meter swim, and like
Yeah, that's not
right
short
before.
for a swim.
No, especially after a three. Like the other thing is like these guys, they're top athletes in their sport, but like they're not like a swimmer or
Have
a
they?
triathlete.
Yeah, have they done? They haven't done a lot of like swimming in the past, as far as I've known.
They've done like a 150 200 meter one. Like I know when they did it in Madison, they went out to a buoy and like ran back through, and then they ran through the city. But I think they started in the water. Like doing it after a run is kind of
A
insane.
lot different. That's why I
Yeah,
mean the Ironmans always start in the swim for a reason, even though it's the
yeah.
shortest leg of the competition.
That's just. I mean, so yeah, he was swimming. I guess like they cut the stream. I think it was. I'm gonna butcher the name. Uh, Lazar like Dukic. He like on the stream, like you just see, I guess, like there was nothing. So like the first 2 days you couldn't see anything. They cut the stream, they like tried to remove everything, and then they released, they sent out like dive teams because he just went under. And and then like you saw like someone from the crowd jump in the water because I think they noticed that he went down. And they said they couldn't find him for like hours. So I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
terrible.
that, that's a sad thing. Number one, like that's absolutely that sucks. And it's like it's just a wild thing that could happen in a competition for like I don't really know how to like equate that, but that's like it's just such a that's like giving someone like a metal spike on their helmet in a football game. You know what I mean? Like just loading it up to like cause almost an injury or something catastrophic, and then being like, "Whoops."
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's. Man,
Not
I
to be a
wonder what the
downer.
repercussion. No, yeah, I'm anxious to see what the repercussions of that are. Because
Yeah, they
CrossFit's big, obviously. Um,
is there a suit or was there like a waiver of like, hey, whatever happens to you at the games, like
yeah, obviously they probably all signed like a waiver, but
yeah, there's that's true. Like they probably do have some kind of waiver of like, hey, if you like you're participating in lieu of an injury or something, like there's got to be that if they're pushing them to these limits, just so they don't leave
right.
like a technicality for like a loophole. But I mean,
Hmm.
also
Who
no
knows? We'll
like
see.
you don't have enough like of the lifeguards like the paddle boarders like looking for that. Like that's a little bit negligent. Um,
Yeah,
but you said you haven't even watched like the Olympics.
I've been following it a little bit. Like I haven't watched it live, but I mean I've followed like basketball and track and field. Obviously, track and
Yeah.
field's my favorite Olympic sport to watch. Um, yeah, definitely some highlights. Obviously, Lyles won the 100, couldn't do the double, but definitely didn't have his best race in that 200 final for sure, time
No.
wise. Or because like I'm usually like we talked about this like back when I was at Elon, like you were basically like, yeah, I think it's his race to lose both the one and the two for the Olympics. Because obviously he's been on like a tear for these past couple years,
Hmm.
and like you always like, I feel like he's always because really like for a long time his the 200 was like his better race, and I mean that's why he has the American record in the 200. And like if he's ahead at 100, like he's gonna
It's
win
game
because his
over. Yeah,
top,
it's game
yeah,
over.
his top speed is just like unmatched, and like he wasn't ahead at the 100. Like he was like up there in the top three with obviously Bednarik and Tobogo, but when I watched that race, I was like, oh yeah, like he's and obviously
Now, Tobogo did have an insane race.
yeah, very good
Like,
race.
I don't want to like say like he wouldn't have won, but I think it would have been a much it would have been harder for sure. Like I don't want to pull that away from
Yeah,
like Kenny and Tobogo because like he's been a top guy in the 200 for years. Tobogo has like he's a little bit newer on the scene, I should say,
yeah,
but
pretty
like
young compared to a lot of them.
he is a very talented runner, and I think he can keep getting better. Um, the women's 200 was insane. Did you watch that?
Yes,
Gabby
yeah,
Thomas just she looked
it was good.
like the American record for Noah Lyles, like coming off that turn. No
Just
one was
slingshot,
yeah.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
the one
that
I
was
want to ask
good,
you about, did you watch the 1500?
dude. Legendary. That was
Cole
because that was
Hawker.
yeah, that was. I think that's probably obviously the hundred's always good, but I think for me the 1500 is probably my favorite race to watch because it's like it's fast,
But
but it
there's still things
also is
that
like
develop.
strategic. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
also strategic, and just like the field this year was top tier. Like all three medalists from Tokyo were back. Obviously, you got like the Americans, like a lot of the finalists from Tokyo were in this race. Obviously, like Ingebrigtsen and Kerr were kind of the main two people where people were like, oh, like they've gone
This
back and
is
forth.
one
Like
and two. Who's going to take
yeah,
it?
exactly. Like defending Olympic title, but he's been defeated in the last two world championships. And I knew, he's always like a front runner. People say he doesn't have like the kick, but his like pace and quality is always like top tier. Um, so I wasn't surprised that he went out fast. It was a good race, you could tell. It was spread out
People were
from pretty much
it
the
was
beginning. It
it was
wasn't
kind of a
slow.
dogfight right away for that like top group, and then that last 120 meters, dude.
It was wild, especially like it's always like interesting when I see people pass on the inside because it's like
That's a
yes, it's
risky
the
move.
direct. I know, and it's like I I would feel like with the final stretch, if you're in first, like I feel like you're trying to hug the rail. Like,
Yeah, so
how do you let
no one passes you
someone?
on the inside.
Yeah, like especially like because obviously when you're coming around that final turn, you don't want to get passed on the inside. But yeah, he just because he tried to pass and he couldn't get through, and then he did it again. It was wild, but it was good. It was good to see because I think it was him and then Kerr and then Nagoose from the U.S. I think got the bronze.
Yeah,
Ingebrigtsen didn't even get on the podium. Um, but
Nagoose
yeah,
had
it was
a good
cool.
race too.
He did, yeah. I like him a lot.
I love the sprints. I love the jumps. Those are my all-time favorite events, no matter what. With that being said, I think the best race of the Olympics, the best event in the Olympics was that 1500-meter final. I
Yeah,
have to say
especially
that.
like seeing
The
seeing an American take it because America's usually not like in the
the
sprints they're usually dialed, but like middle distance, long distance, they're
yeah.
usually like lucky if they get like one person on the podium. I know like I think it was the 5K or the 10K. I know Grant Fisher got on the podium, which was
Hmm.
good to see. But usually those are dominated by like Europeans and like Africans for the most part. So that
Yeah.
was really cool to see.
I
Um,
did love that. And then the 3K steeple that was a great race to watch.
mhm.
When I can't remember who it was, but he just started like it was like a lap to go, and he just started taking off, and everyone just is like, "Oh God, he's going! We have to go."
Yes, that was good. The 400 was good.
The 400 hurdles were really good, both men's and
Yeah,
women's. Ryan
yeah. I was
Benjamin and
glad to.
Sydney McLaughlin.
Yeah, I was glad to see Benjamin get the win just because I feel like he's shown that he could beat Warhol, but never like at like
A
obviously like
premier event like a World Champs or even a Diamond League
Olympics.
final, yeah, or an
Yeah,
Olympics. Like
so that
that
was
was
that was
super
good to
cool.
see him get that one. Um, the flat four as well. Kind of interesting because the I think was it Gardner, the defending champ, didn't make the
Yeah,
final because of injury, which was kind of
there was a
unfortunate.
lot. There was a lot of like I don't want to say like the old guard, but like some people who've seen a couple Olympics. All right, like uh, Gardner, he didn't run.
Hmm.
Shelly Ann Fraser Price pulled out of the semifinal in the 100-meter. Um, even Noah Lyles like getting COVID or not performing as well in the 200. Someone else kind of pulled out of a race. I can't remember who it was. Oh, the I don't know if he's not going to compete. Um, it was the co-Olympic champ at the Tokyo Olympics in the high jump. He got kidney
Mm,
stones and he was in so much pain he couldn't like actually like fold over the bar. So he went to the
damn.
hospital. But I didn't check on it, and this is probably like hearsay, but he basically after the semifinal he went to the hospital to see if he can get him removed, and but he said like I'm not letting this hold me out of the final.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy. Yeah, other
the
than that,
shot
it's
put,
been good. Shot put was sick.
yeah, the shot put
Um,
was sick. It was just soaking wet, and then Joe Kovacs just ripping one final throw as hard as he could just to get on the medal, leapfrogging into silver. That's one of those like all time moments.
but that
Um,
was basketball. Obviously, took home the gold.
Yeah, I think
Um,
women's soccer won gold.
yep.
That
Um,
was we watched that match yesterday. That was pretty sick when they went into like the plus 10 minutes. It was you could see like the whole stadium just like stand up. It was kind of sick of like what's gonna happen. That one was a good one. The men's
um,
gymnastics. The men's gymnastics with
those
the dude with the pommel horse.
those guys are so fucking jacked.
I'm big on the for biceps. This the locked elbow now because that's how they all they do is locked elbow stuff, and they all have massive biceps.
Yep.
So
Some
all in on
strict
that idea.
curls. Stand against
Yeah,
stand against the wall.
front
Um,
just front raises out the ass.
yep. Simone Biles. That was cool to see, especially with like just her like longevity in the sport of gymnastics, which traditionally like you
is
get
not
one
a
shot.
longevity. Yeah.
Yeah, especially like as a female gymnast, that's super impressive.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like that's about all that I've kept up on for the most part.
Have you seen the like the shooting, like the sport shooting?
No, I haven't.
The memes were hilarious.
Or
There
I saw
was
some of the memes for some reason.
yeah, there was the I think it was a Japanese athlete. I think it might have been Japanese, like Japan or Korea. She broke the world record, and it was just like the most like nonchalant, like just pulled the gun out, had like her hand in her pocket. She popped it, like hit like the last number. I think she hit like a 9, and just like casually like sets it back down, gives like a nod, and it's like you just broke a world record, dude. Like you can be excited. And then the I think he was from Turkey or one of the like either East European or like uh Saudi Arabian countries. He was like out there like in just like a set of glasses and just was like, and he took home silver. Like the dude's a dog.
Yeah, the shooting, the archery is fun to watch too. I haven't watched any of it this year, but
Archery is fun, like especially when they're like good at it.
yeah. Trying to think what else.
We watched some of the ping pong.
The ping pong's cool. Badminton. Uh,
Yeah, dude, the worst event that happened this year. I'm gonna say it. The breakdancing.
they have, is that new?
It's new and it was so bad. It was like they send one person out and they start to like breakdance, and it was just such a no rhyme or reason, didn't make sense. And they someone on Twitter put like a video of like them in the 400-meter final, and they were like, just FYI, you're telling me these are both gold medalist like events?
What the one I think is kind of lame is like the 20K walk
That's just, I mean,
because they don't. Okay, I feel like they don't like enforce
the
like
like
having
one foot on the ground.
Yeah, like it's technically can be like a run. Like I should feel like they should enforce like one foot has to be on the ground at all times, otherwise it's not really a walk.
Like put a sensor in the shoe.
Yeah,
So
honestly,
like you have to have pressure on both at the time, and if you don't, then you
yes,
get flagged. I feel like
yeah,
that could be easy. They put chips in the bibs and in the batons. Like you could put a chip in the
exactly,
shoe. Just submit your
yeah,
shoes before.
yeah. So that one's because it's weird because it's like oh, it's like is it even like part of track and field? Like yeah, like it's I feel like it's just not the same, you know.
Don't get
It's just not.
boxed in. Don't get
Yeah,
boxed
yeah,
in.
yeah. It's just not the same. Like um, I'm trying to think what other that's really all I've kept up on, to be honest with you.
Same. Like I haven't watched much more else. Um, was cool to see USA win basketball. I'll say that.
Yeah, especially with like
We
a
should
lot of those
reinvented
guys. I
it.
mean, yeah, especially with like a lot of those guys, that'll be their last. Like LeBron,
He's
like
not
that's his
probably
last
going to play in
Olympic
another
team.
Olympic team. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on Curry to play in another one. I wouldn't count on Durant to play in another one. Like a
No.
lot of those guys. So that was cool to see. But yeah, that's really about it for the most part.
I don't think I've. I don't know if I'm missing a sport. Oh, beach volleyball. Didn't really watch beach volleyball. I'm trying to think of like any of the other. Uh, Katie Ledecky with the swim. She just the only thing I didn't really watch it, but she annihilated everybody. Which like she's like
She's
the
just
she
dominant.
yeah she's the
She's
goat
like the
of like
Michael.
female swimming. She's Michael
Yeah, she's like
Phelps.
the Michael Phelps of female swimming for sure.
Yeah, like she was gonna. She walked in and it was you could just tell she was like, yeah, I'm gonna win. But
Yeah,
she's just so humble too. Of like, I'm gonna go out there like give my best effort. And it's like, yeah, but have you seen like the film? Like, you know how you swim,
do you
right?
know who you are?
Like you're probably gonna walk out there and you could give like 85% effort and it could be close, but like you're still gonna win.
Yeah,
So
speaking of sports, what's the first? How is you guys are still in camp for
yeah,
football?
we're in camp. It's been a rough camp. I won't lie. We've been getting
Really?
attacked. Yeah, we've been getting attacked by like the heat. So like
Okay.
we've cut some practices due to like the heat monitor just going off, and not having sun cover is really tough. Um, but we have some of the freshmen like might have like a legit like they're gonna play. Like there's this one freshman running back. The dude is just insane. He reminds me of like the Monmouth running back from like last year. You can't like
Fast as hell.
he's fast, he's shifty, and the coolest part is like so we did like a live scrimmage. Like you can't get a clean hit on him because he just starts to slip. He just like shifts his shoulders or his hips, and this kid can just move. He's insane. Um, Bray Boy made the top 100 like freaks in college football,
Saw that. Well
so that
deserved.
was well deserved, dude. 44 inch, 22 miles per hour in game. You
Yeah,
know
I'm not
he,
surprised at all.
he's Bray Boy. He's still the same guy. It doesn't matter to him. He wants to come line up and play football.
Yep.
Um,
When's the first game?
First game, it's a Friday night against Duke. I believe
That's right.
it's
End of
the
the month, probably, huh?
20, yeah, 20, whatever that Friday is. I gotta I have it like pulled up on my calendar. Let me pull it up. Um, it's August 30th. August
Okay.
30th, that Friday. So it'll be sick. I'm super excited. Um, we have we have a lot of talent in the secondary. That's just like it's a cool thing too because we have a mix of like veteran dudes. Like obviously you got CC, Khalil. Like these guys have been around the block.
Hmm.
They've done very success. They're both all Americans. Um, and then we have like DJ Hamilton coming in a corner. We have D Tuck back, so it's like you have this mix of like super young talent of like a second year player, and then these older guys who have seen what it takes to like be successful and win and like be composed in high pressure situations. Linebacking crew, obviously, like they got the year under their belt. The defensive line gets really good movement. O line has been protecting very, very well, which is kind of cool to see. Gives Matt some time, and Matt can make some just killer throws. He he hit 20.5 last sprint day on the in t-shirts. So his speed
Hell
is
yeah.
there. His knees healthy. He's good to go. Running backs, we've got 3, 4 that could all come in and be a starter anywhere, and it's just like, all right, just, you'll get carries, you'll get carries, you'll get carries, you'll get carries. It's like just roll with whoever's feeling good that day and who's got the hot hand, and let it ride. Um, Backy Charlie Mills, he's gonna play. You know, Od J
Hell
Dog.
yeah.
It's a very, very talented team. I just hope that we get over that like hump and
Hmm.
like win the CAA. That's the biggest thing. But if we can beat Duke, that's one of those games that's like you win that sets up a season pretty nice.
Right, for sure.
Now
Uh,
it's not going to be an easy game. Let's be honest. It's a Power
no.
Four program. We're playing at their house, which even though it's up the road, it's still not a home game.
Mm-mm.
So I'm super excited for them. So it'll
Yeah.
be good.
Oh, it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How are you guys looking towards this like end of like postseason or like getting
So
into like
yeah.
postseason?
So it looks so our regular season is done on the 20th, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy to think about. So we have two teams down here. One team is doing pretty bad, like below 500. Most of the younger, like new signees, are on that team, so it's kind of to be expected. But and then our other team is just above 500, and they're kind of still in like I think they've been kind of picking up momentum. So I think technically, if they win out, they could still make the playoff. But it looks like it's going to be tough. I mean, it's interesting because like the playoffs here is like obviously a lot different from like the minors and like the major leagues. Like I think the playoffs would only add like maybe an extra week to a week and a half of our season. So it's looking like we're not going to make that, unfortunately. But hopefully we can just kind of play good baseball for the rest of the season, obviously, and then get a little bit of time off. Guys will be able to go home, and then they'll come back, or some of them at least will come back for basically it's called instructs, but it's basically like a fall ball. They'll play more games, and then we'll do this thing called strength camp, which is new to me, but sounds pretty sick. So basically, like they just lift and train, which is kind of badass, and we get to kind of have a say in who they bring back for that. It's mostly the guys that need it the most, so that's it's good that they are obviously like bought into that. But yeah, definitely definitely a lot of work to do. Seen some really good individual performances, especially as far as like pitching. Where we played basically the top team in the whole DSL, one of the Giants teams. They've won a lot of games. We played them at their place. Ended up losing by one in extra innings, but it was a good performance, especially like we pitched basically like our I would say like our ace, and he did really good. It was good to see him like go up against like a good team and just kind of prove that he's like one of the top pitchers in the DSL, which is good to see. I think we'll have some guys that get moved up at the end of the season or at the end of the year, which is good. Um, as far as like pitching, moved up to like Arizona, hopefully. Um, Probably have some position guys go up as well. And then had so they brought in the guys that they're signing for next season. They were here this past week, basically like they called it a tryout, but I think most of them have like deals set in place already. So most of them are like signed and set to come here. A couple of them like we're still like negotiating and still like seeing if they want to sign them. That was it was kind of weird because like these kids are like 15, like they look like little kids, and they are like you should be in like high school, and they're about to sign like a pro baseball contract, which is just wild.
Insane.
Yeah, like I'm looking at this guy like, oh, this kid's getting like $2 million. I'm like, what? Like, so that was definitely interesting. Got them set up with like programs for when they go home, which is good, and I think they'll be back. Um, they'll be back in January. Obviously, I don't know if they'll bring them back any earlier, but yeah, that was that was interesting to see. I don't know. It's weird because it's like how people try out for like AAU like basketball teams or like travel baseball teams in the states. Like you except for you try out for like the Chicago Cubs, or you try out like, oh, I had a tryout with the Yankees. Like that's just
That's
what they do
wild.
down here. I know
Yeah,
it's crazy, but it's kind of cool also. So
that's good. So now, I guess I'll ask this: like, with you guys, are you like obviously like everybody wants to win the team stuff? Like that's a really good look on the on an org, but like obviously like the whole point is develop these guys so they can move up, right? So you're not
right,
like is it as like much? Does it feel like as much of like a loss if you don't win at all, or are you like, well, we still got everybody where they needed to go?
right. That's a good question. It's definitely kind of how I've been told and how I see it as well. Is obviously within like an entire org, the thing that everybody wants is like major league wins. Major league wins to win a World Series, compete for, division titles, all that stuff. And then towards the bottom, and as you get up, it's more about like especially down here, development's the priority. Like development's more important than winning. Obviously, yeah, like we want the kids to compete, we want them to win, but like really we want them to like get better more, and then obviously like the winning gets more important as you get up, through the affiliate levels, and obviously as they get more developed, there's less room for development, so that the kind
Winning
of the
becomes the
priority.
priority.
Yeah, the priorities like kind of like slowly switch until like the big leagues where like you hopefully like they're pretty much about as physically developed as they're going to get, and obviously you still want to like train, but you're trying to win games because that's where it really matters. So
Yeah.
I would say it still like sucks to lose, especially like when we lose in a close game. But there's also so many games. Like we play a game 5, 6 times a week, and it's even more in the affiliates. Like they're playing way more games than us, where it's like. And I talked. I remember Matt talking about this as well. Like you kind of just get like not like immune to it, but like you just know there's another game. Like one game does not decide your season for the most part. So obviously we want to win, but like I think, and it's a little bit different down here too, because like people will still have like pitch counts, kind of like they do in like high school baseball. Like we don't really let, and it's rare for like any team. You rarely see guys pitch more than 4 innings, maybe five if they're like if they've been down here for a couple of years. They might let them go 5 innings if the pitch count's low enough. But like usually for our starters, like if they get through 4 innings, like that's a really good day for them. Like our better pitchers will go 3 to 4 innings consistently, and then relievers, if we can get them to go 2 or 3, that's really good. Um, but then it's also different because like we have a ton of guys down here. Obviously, we have 2 teams, so guys, especially with like pitching, every so often they have to pitch like in a game. So it's tough sometimes with like for the coach's decision, like okay, like this guy hasn't pitched in like a week. I need to throw him. And sometimes it just happens that you throw a guy that's not as good in a game that's close, which is what it is. But, we're trying to give them opportunities to develop, and we have to give them opportunities to play in a game. Um, so that's just kind of how it works out sometimes. But I
I
think
like it.
that's what
So
I'm
win, but obviously, like our marker is to move
develop.
these guys up and develop them to be
Yeah.
major league guys, or at
Yeah.
least like
Like
high
no
level affiliate,
one,
like whatever it is.
exactly. Trying to like maximize people's potential because no one really like they down here it matters, but like people don't care who wins the DSL championship necessarily, especially like
They care who wins the
considering
World
probably
Series.
exactly, yeah. Like most people, a lot of people probably don't even know that this exists down here for some teams. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
All right, man. Should we review these?
should we? Yeah, let's give these things a review.
You want to go
What are you
first?
thinking about? Yeah,
Okay.
what are you thinking about yours?
The can looks sick. Red Bull's never missed on like the look of a can. It's so iconic. It's a little small, obviously. It's Red Bull. It's a little bit pricier. Um, Sugar a little bit higher. So like, not gonna pick this one off the shelf if I don't have to. 80 milligrams of caffeine, so like a light coffee. Flavor wise, it's good, not great. I think if I rated this one fully with our metrics, can look, you know, flavor, kind of mouthfeel, pause, the carbonation and price and ingredients. Sorry,
Well,
Artie's trying to get in. Artie's trying to get in the door. I don't know if you heard that.
yes.
So if I have to rate all that, I'm probably going 6.3.
Okay. Not
Solid, not
great.
great.
Not great. Okay. So for me, obviously, I gotta go. I kind of have to give 2 ratings. Like, I give this a DR rating, and then I'll give it like, okay, if I was in the states, that type of rating. The can, like I said, like I'm not a huge fan of the can, honestly, of the just the C4 in general. I do like that it's consistent with their brand as far as like how it looks in comparison to like their tubs of pre-workout and really like just kind of their products like overall in general. So I can appreciate that. The flavor for it's probably the best mango flavor I've had. It's definitely not my favorite of C4, but it is solid. It's smooth, not too much carbonation. The ingredients are good. 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's solid. I feel like that's kind of like obviously I do like Rain. They have like 300, but I feel like 200 is kind of the sweet spot for me. Like a Ghost, a Gorilla Mind, a C4. I'll have around 200. I like that a lot. Also have some beta alanine in there, which is nice for a pre-workout. Um, yeah, the ingredients are great. So for down here, even though it is pretty pricey, this is probably the best energy drink that I've found down here. It's like down, I feel like down here is like at this point, this kind of has to be the standard as far as like so that what I compare everything to. So this might be like the perfect 10 if you want to
The
call it that. Just to,
DR10.
yeah, this is like the DR10. And obviously like I have the midnight cherry flavor, which I know is even better. So that's going to be tough to beat down here. You know, I'll obviously keep looking. But I mean, I would still probably drink this from time to time when I'm in the States. Maybe not this exact flavor, but like I would drink C4s, like, you know, the Starburst ones, especially. I would give this probably in the States. I'm probably giving it like a, I'll probably give it like a 7.2, honestly. Some of the other flavors
Wow.
are definitely like well into the eights, like the blue bombsicle, yellow starburst is like, you know, probably around 8.5, something like that. But this is like probably like a 7.2. I'd even go up to like a 7.4, 7.5 on a good day.
I thought you were going to give it a 7.6. So,
Yeah, it's solid, man. I like it a lot. Um, yeah.
all right.
So that's the old C4. Oh, and I didn't mention this. This is like a Wounded Warrior Project collab, so that's also kind of cool. Pay homage.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So they probably
so
donate some of the proceeds for that can.
yeah, so it's cool. Kind of, I've been noticing a little bit more detail on the can. It's kind of like a camo. I don't know if you can see that, like a silver gray camo
Yeah.
ish, like little splotches. So nice little addition there. But yeah,
Hell yeah.
I'm happy that I found that honestly. So
Sick, dude. Well, everybody, thank you for watching, tuning in this week. As always, we love you. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Uh, underscore bevboys.tv. Sorry, we changed it to get a better one.
yes,
We will be posting more short form content on there as we go and getting that off the ground. So that way, if you guys don't have an hour to watch us, you can still get a glimpse of us in your day. Um, Follow us personally on Instagram at bszukoski, BSZUTKOWSKI, and
French_fit40.
um, obviously check out the greatest website ever known to man. That is bevboys.com, BEVBOIS.com. They've got some cool pictures on there, got some merch for us. There is going to be a team style logo, a team
Mm.
a team version of our original Bev Boys Pop That Top T. So that'll be coming out. Everybody should love that one. Well, those will be cool when we see them kind of roll out. But as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.